Can the Ace Motorcycles Norton dust itself off and fire up for a test ride by Cafe Racer magazine? Tune in next week and we'll all see. After the break, we'll meet legendary Vincent tuner Sid Bieberman, who's passing down the Brit Bike expertise to a new generation.
And my jaw dropped, Jesus Christ. And we had no idea what the hell it was we had made.
Our next story was inspired by the book Big Sid's Vincati, an autobiographical story of a father and son's rocky relationship and how it was saved by a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's unique about Big Sid and Matthew, his son, to an extent, in that when Big Sid got into building cafe bikes, fast British bikes, there weren't any rockers. That was before rock and roll. That's how far back this guy goes. So they're about the motorcycle.
It's the most beautiful single thing I ever built. It's strange. I built a lot of things. I built a race bike. I built fast engines. I assembled a lot of them. He helped me assemble a lot of them. But there's an extraordinary sense of reaching a pinnacle.
Big Sid was not just a motorcycle shop owner in the Virginia Beach area. Big Sid was, in fact, a legendary mechanic who honed his skills on the drag strips up and down the East Coast during the 50s and 60s. His bikes were bulletproof and never, ever broke.
Never. Never a breakage in clutch, in transmission, in engine, nothing. Over 3 years of running weekends. It was solid and perfectly reliable.
You know, there's certain tuners that go with certain brands, like Rob Muzzy and Kawasaki. Like, you know, like you think about Ducati and Tamburini. You think about Big Sid, he's Vincent.
From the very earliest memories that I have, the most pleasant memories that I have are around Vincent's. Because A, Sid is always in his best mood and feels good around Vincent's. That to the degree that the household was a happy household was always when Sid was getting a light shined on him as being somebody who was significant in the Vincent world.
Matthew soon departed to follow his own passion of English literature, which put even more distance on a strained relationship. Still, there was one thing that could bring them together: Vincent motorcycles.
We did a ride together. We went places together. There was things that we enjoyed, the open road.
Sid eventually moved to Louisville, Kentucky to be closer to Matthew and his family. But the move was almost short-lived.
Shortly after I arrived here in 2000, I had a massive heart attack that nearly, with a four-way bypass, that nearly killed me, very, very close. I was very, very depressed, very low, which is often the case when you have a heart attack and you come back.
When I went to visit him the day before, he said to me,
"Why didn't they just let me die? Everybody only gets one go-round, and I've had mine. It was time for me to go."
The doctor said to me that if he didn't find a reason for living, he wouldn't.
Matthew visited me, and he brought a stack of photographs, recent arrivals, photographs in the mail. And he said, "What's this?"
And he said, "Oh, it's a Vincati." "Vincati, what is that?" And he said, "Oh, well, you take a Ducati chassis and you put a Vincent motor in it and you make a Vincati." And immediately I was thinking, and in my memory were those rides when I was young and he was young, and we were out riding that Ducati and that Vincent. And I said to him,
"If you come out of here, we're gonna build one of these." And I said, "You're crazy."
And he immediately looked at me and gave me this expression that was like, you might as well say we're gonna climb Mount Everest. You know what I mean? Like, this will never happen because I am finished and you don't know your way around a Vincent or tools or really anything.
Walk out of here, we'll build this.
It it did just kind of start to fall together.
This thing wanted to be built. It was beyond us. It wanted to be built. One of the reasons it looked so beautiful, I think, it did it itself. It did it itself. When Matthew and I saw it for the first time, the first mock-up, we put the side covers on it, and we put the seat on and the tank on and the side covers on. The controls weren't hooked up and couldn't start it. And we walked together out the back door and turned around and looked at it for the first time. And my jaw dropped, Jesus Christ. And Matthew said, oh, it's really beautiful, isn't it? We had no idea what the hell it was we had made. We were under that spell. And then we could see it for the first time. The big struggle that I had to learn was that we had fitted very radical cams, and it's high compression, it's a lightning motor inside. I had to sacrifice some to get it to eat out of my hand. I had created a monster motor that just wanted to kick ass and take names.
Working with Sid on the Vincati has been a lesson in the complexities of love. There are all kinds of things that I like about my dad, there are all kinds of things that I don't like, and I think I've fundamentally come to understand in a clear way what he's like, and I think he understands in a pretty clear way what I'm like.
It restored my zest for living.
I call it the gift that keeps on giving, because it didn't just like give all the gift at once. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it keeps giving additional gifts. And I didn't see it as a book. I didn't build it to write a book. I built it to save Sid's life.
This brought us together unlike we had ever had before. We felt this common act of creation, and it changed us.
After the break.
Eric, wait till you see these hooligans pulling out, dude. It's unbelievable.
Expo Street Fighter faces the ultimate test ride at the hands of the Bostrom brothers. Previously on Cafe Racer, New York custom bike builder A.J. Fulgado combined the best parts of Cafe Racers and the futuristic Street Fighters to amazing effect. The question is,